Joel was still doing the booking.
What happened with that whole thing?
Joel ran out of money, and he needed somebody to. He ran out of money. Remember, he had Flair coming in for the January show, and then all that got kiboshed, and then he just went under, and then that's when Todd took over, because Todd had invested with the company when it was Joel's company. So Todd had always liked wrestling, so Todd decided to take it over.
Right. When Eddie did first come in, was he easy to deal with, or was he?
But to deal with, he's the booker. I'm a kid. I don't know nothing. You know what I mean? I do what the hell he tells me to do. That was it. It wasn't like friends. Like me and Paulie are more friends than me and Eddie were. You know what I mean? When Paulie's done a lot for me. Paulie likes me. Did you see all the shit he's done with me in the last 4 years? He's given me enough angles in the last 4 years that could last 15 years, like down in Memphis.
Right.
So Eddie wasn't real close. I just listened to him, and that was it.
Yeah. How is it different the way that he ran it as compared to now? I guess.
Now, it's still my booking's booking, but see now Paulie's the owner now. Paulie owns the company now. Todd's like the president, founder, whatever the hell you want to call him. So it's a different situation when you have just Eddie doing the booking and Todd being the owner. It's different when you're booker owner. Although Todd was the owner for the first couple of years or whatever. I don't know exactly what the timing was. Okay. Okay, so let me get back to where we were. So it might be more different now to me because I have a lot more say in what we do. Paulie. Before, we do so much elaborate stuff in the ECW that Paulie gives us a general idea, and then we work out all the details. It's a lot more. Guys are way more like I was just up in Raw the other night. Guys, you think guys in WWF say to Vince, well, maybe we should do this instead. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do this. Is that how it happens, Fonz? No, you get it from Vince or the agent, and that's it, right? I'm trying to let him know the difference between, like, Paulie gives us a general idea and lets us work out all the details. So when Eddie Gilbert was in, Eddie gave you your match, told you what your finish was. You go do that, and you don't do this, you don't do that. Paulie just gives us more free reign, and we have a lot more say in what goes on.
Why are you burning up the whole fucking country?
Huh?
Why are you being so fucking...
Yeah, so basically we just get more free. We get more free reign on what we want to do in ECW.
Okay. When when the booking changed over with Eddie Gilbert and Paulie, what was the feeling like in the locker room? Was everybody excited or scared, or you know? Because it's.
I really didn't even know at that point. I wasn't smart enough to really see if there was going to be a big difference or not. You know what I mean? I don't know Paulie. I didn't know Eddie Gilbert, so I didn't know how things were going to turn out at that point because I hadn't been experienced enough.
Right. When did you see it? When
Paulie started doing stuff with it.
Yeah.
Paul, when they were, I was kind of like a bad. It's so weird how there's like good guys and bad guys. I was kind of like they wanted me to be. They were having me fighting bad guys, but I was still getting booed. So when you do that, you turn the guy heel or you make him a bad guy or whatever. But pretty much like the ECW crowd, it's funny if you watch the show last night. Tommy Rich is out there with Little Guido and he's wrestling the Rookie. The whole time, Rich and Guido are the bad guys. That's why the audience decides whether you're going to be a good guy or a bad guy. This is how I'm going to make my point. Tommy Rich and Guido are out there with the Rookie. The Rookie, they're cheering the Rookie. They're booing Tommy Rich and Guido. As soon as the match is over, Tommy Rich gets back in the ring. They're cheering Guido and they're booing Tommy Rich.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's so weird in ECW. It's like everybody's like a tweener. It's like you decide the crowd. Part of the match you can be the baby face, and part of the match you can be the heel. It's really it's weird. But to get back to your point, I started liking Paulie more when he started doing stuff with me more. When he saw something in me, he saw I had talent. He told me a couple of years right after we did the blind angle and stuff. He goes, kid, every time I've given you a ball, you ran for a fucking touchdown. So he's just been keep giving it to me.
Yeah. I guess WWF seems, not to jump around, but WWF seems lately to be copying that whole concept because all of their top 4 or 5 guys now are tweeners, more or less.
Everybody's copying Paulie's concepts. He is literally the best in the planet at what he does. The guy might not, he's not the best businessman in the world. Todd's the best businessman in the world. Paulie is got the most creative mind in wrestling, and he can probably turn it into situation comedies, into what's that, like the Guiding Light, General Hospital soap operas. He's got that kind of mind where he can come up with things. He might not be able to give you the dialogue, but he'll give you the idea. The guy falling off the boat, swimming to this island. Next thing you know, you got found on the island. They brought him back 2 years later. He's the guy that comes up with real creative stuff. And there's no reason why anybody shouldn't copy what he does, because he's the best in the business. Probably the best there ever was in the business to this point.
He's probably influenced more in the business in the last 3 or 4 years than anybody has in the last 70, 80.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Him and Vince McMahon and McMahon Jr. I don't know, was his dad Vince too?
Senior.
Vince Senior, yeah, Vince McMahon Jr. He had a lot to do with it in the 80s, from 78 to 85. Right, he had a lot of influence too. But Paulie's definitely got the most now.
When did you actually realize that you made it? That you weren't in that bottom tier anymore. That you were in that top tier.
A year ago.
A year ago.
Year and a half ago.
Wow. What? Talk about the Kane.
Even though you had titles, I've gotten the titles before. They were almost by accident, by like circumstances changing around and stuff like that. I ended up getting them. So. I never said I was just happy with it. I was real happy, excited the way things were going. But I never really realized until about a year and a half ago that I'm there. And not, I'm there as in, on our level. Not some guys might be to Sid Vicious or Bret Hart. There might be in Vince McMahon and Jeremy, God in Germany, God in the United States, stuff like that. But to me, I've accomplished something in this business so far. I feel like, now I'm going to do it for another 20 years.
So whose idea was it to change the gimmick when they finally got out of the wetsuit and finally, put a beer in your hand?
I'm not sure exactly. Oh, well, I had a little crossover time. I got rid of the red suit. Remember we were watching some stuff that I wore this night? In fact, right then we were watching it when I ended up hitting my wife for the first time, and then Tommy Cairo came out. And then right after that, I started going out in sweats, and Steve and Paul's like, I don't know if it was my idea or Todd's or Paul's, but they're like, listen, just let him be himself. Just let him go out there and be himself. That's fine. And then Paul, I was smoking a cigarette, Paul's, and I remember it was the night that, I think the first time I smoked a cigarette was the night that Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton came in the arena. When Eaton pulled off the mask, got the big pop, and then Arn came running out. I think that was the first night I smoked a cigarette in the arena. And then it took a little while to get it. Here, we're watching. Who's this down here? Is that me, Dreamer? Oh, that's that day in New York.
Right.
That's that afternoon in New York,
Right.
isn't it? Okay.
Yep, that's the afternoon show.
Yeah, so, here, back over here, Rob.
Okay.
So,
Director.
I came out, I got rid of the wetsuit, and then I came around with a towel around my neck. Paul wanted me to be like that tough guy, like brawler type, not like the wrestler. He was telling me that's how he saw my character. He's just, go out there and be a tough guy. Don't laugh, don't do nothing, don't acknowledge the crowd, anything. And thank God he did, because it helped. And that's how I ended up with that 5-minute entrance and all that stuff, you know what I mean, to get myself over a little bit more. So that's when my character started to change right then, when I started the program with Cairo. And then with the cigarette, and then I guess about 2 months with the cigarette, and then he said, the hell with it, just take the beer out. And I was glad, too. I was glad. Nobody else ever done it. Nobody ever went to the ring smoking a cigarette. Nobody ever went to the ring drinking a beer. Now it's like, well, how can I top this? Well, now I go to the ring, I drink the beer, I smash it on my head. That's why my head looks like this. And I bleed before I get into the ring. I do it because nobody else ever did it before. It's like my niche in wrestling.
That's why the people like you so much,
Yeah,
I guess, because you represent them more or less.
Well, because I'm like the people's champion. Like,
Right.
that's why I don't need a belt. And Paulie sat me down one day and goes, kid, he goes, you know why you're getting over? We're sitting in my van outside the studio, just taking a break, and he goes, you see that tree? And I'm like, yeah, where the hell's he going with this story? Paulie's known for telling great stories. So